Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this shadow box card. It is made as a box, but it will fold flat to go into a normal envelope to be posted. It just opens up like that and stands. Brilliant. I was inspired to make this by a swap that I received when I went to online convention in November in Brussels. This is a swap that I received from Delphine Lopez, which I thought was absolutely gorgeous, so thank you very much for that. So that's where my inspiration came from. It's a very, very simple card to make. So with no further ado, I will tell you what card pieces you need. And it looks as if I've left my box, my book rather, over there. So let me get this again, otherwise I won't be able to tell you what the sizes are. Right, okay, so I used Lost Lagoon, and the white piece I've used our extra thick Whisper White cardstock. So both of these pieces measure 4 1/8 inch by 5 3/4 inches, and it is important that you make sure they are both exactly the same size. Then you need 3 pieces of our Vellum cardstock. This piece is 3 1/2 inches by 4 inches. This piece is 1 1/2 inches by 3 inches, and this one is 2 3/8 by 1 5/8. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to score our cardstock. Oops, that was my scoring tool. Just went walkabouts. Right, here we go. Let me get back into position again. Right, okay, so this is the Lost Lagoon, and I'm going to score it this side, first of all at 1/2 inch, and then at 1 inch. I'm going to turn it 180 degrees and score at 1/2 inch and then at 1 inch. Then I'm going to bring my Whisper White extra thick cardstock, and I'm going to score it exactly the same, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, turn it to 180 degrees, score 1/2 inch and at 1 inch. So that's all we need to do with that. Then I'm going to bring my Big Shot up, and we will die cut the circle out of the front. So for that I'm going to be using the number 6, I think this is. Let me just double check. These are our Circles Collection Framelits. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's right. I always start counting from the centre. Smaller the die, smaller the number. Right, so I'm just looking to get this into the centre so that I've got the same distance from that score line and this score line to this, the die, and then equally have I got the same amount of gap here, which looks pretty good to me. So I'm just going to crank that through. Go. Okay, so that's that bit done. Pop that on there, and then I can move this out of the way. Right, okay. Oops, not quite sure what happened there. Right, so I'll leave those 2 pieces, and I'll do these next. This is for the stamping and the heat embossing. Now the stamps I'm using are from our 2 of the new sets coming in the spring catalogue. So first of all, it's the the large flower here and the smaller flower. That's this one and this, and they're from Birthday Blooms. And the sentiment, the happy birthday, is from You're So Lovely. Okay, that one there. And both of these are in the new spring catalogue that goes live on 5th of January. So I'm going to do all three pieces at the same time, which does work as long as you don't get carried away with answering the phone or answering the front door or something. Once you've started, you have to keep going with this if you want to do all three at the same time. Right, so my Embossing Buddy, I'll do all three. So that's my large flower, that's the birthday sentiment, and this is for the tall single flower. So I will take the large flower first, ink it up with VersaMark, okay, so that's one. And then the next one I've got is the birthday sentiment. Move that one out of the way, and then finally the single flower. Now my white embossing powder. Now for the two little ones, I'm just going to put these both in straight into the box. Right, this is a happy birthday. And then this one, I'm going to leave it on here, as it's such a big one. I don't want to chance dipping it straight into the box in case I catch the sides or something. But I can see that I've got a little piece of black on there. Wonder if I can get that off with tweezers. Now let's find out whether I've actually smudged any of the VersaMark. I think it's gone okay. The real proof in the pudding will be in the cooking. Right, I'm going to heat emboss these now. Let's get my paper piercer so that I can hold on to each of these pieces. Right, I'll go silent for a little while. think that looks good. Right. Now, as you can see, I have already done mine and fussy cut them out, but I would just like to show you what I did. That's okay, that's just going to be punched. I turned over them both, worked on the reverse side. The colours that I used the inks and our one of our blender pens. So I used the Lost Lagoon, Old Olive and Hello Honey. So the first thing that I did on this one, the centres, normally most flowers you just get like a centre and that is all yellow, but not on this one. This one is like lots of little circles, so I suspect that must be like stamens that stand up with the little round bit on the top which is yellow. So I do the little round bits all in the yellow from the reverse side, and then any bits that I've got left over I paint in the blue. So to get the ink onto my lid, I just squash that down a few times. Then I work with this bit here. Just check that my pen is clean. Right, okay. So all I do from the reverse side, I just colour in the circles. I'm not going to do all of this obviously because I've already prepared mine, but I just want to show you what I do. Okay, so I just go all over where I consider them to be circles or ovals, but certainly self-contained little areas that to me are the ends of the stamens. Okay, see how I've done that. And then on the reverse side you can just about see the yellow going through it. Very, very subtle. It's a lot better once you can actually see it on the white, so I'll show you close up later. So that's what I do with the yellow. With the green, I do, again, first of all, make sure my pen is clean, and all you need to do is go from side to side until it runs clean. There we go. I'll just give it a little twist to make sure that I've got all the sides over. Okay. Right, okay, so on the reverse side again, first of all I go and do any stems that there's there. There's that one, that one, that one. With this you can go over the white lines, but don't go onto the outside edge of the white lines. Right, okay, so that was what, 5, 6 stems. Then once I've done that, I go and do the leaves. I'm only going to do this roughly because I can finish it off later. But these are leaves, those and those. And then there's, all of this is a leaf. These little ones as well. That there is a leaf. There'll be a photograph of this on my blog, so if you forget which bits, you'll be able to check up again. Okay, so there's that one, that one, and across there. Okay, so I do all the green bits there next, and then I go on to do the blue. And on this one, it's only got the blue and the green, and the green is just this bit down here, and then the 2 leaves. Okay, you see that I'm going straight over the white lines. It really doesn't matter. Probably one of the easiest bits of painting you'll ever do, where the least amount of worry about going over lines, because it comes up nice like that. Okay, and then I would just do the flower in blue. So once that's been done, it needs to be fussy cut, and I'd just like to give one bit of advice about that as well. So let's get these out of the way first. Right, doing this one is really nice and easy, straightforward. But this one, because there are so many bits and pieces, I find that the bit that's already been cut can get in the way. So if I start from this side and show you what I do. And on this, it doesn't matter if you've cut some of the white edging off, and it doesn't matter if you leave some of the vellum still there. Neither will notice. Okay, so once I've started cutting, and then I've got this bit that starts getting in my way as I'm twisting and turning. So as soon as I find that it's a bit of a nuisance, once I start coming up this direction, I will just cut it off. So it's off, out of the way, and then I can start cutting again, and it's all nice and clear for me. And also I just turn my paper. If you watch my scissors, they do hardly no movement at all. Hardly any movement at all even. Okay, so more or less keep my scissors straight and just move the paper. Now it's when you come to little bits like this that it's more important to get rid of the larger pieces that will be getting in your way. So like that, and cut that off and then keep going. Okay, so that's my advice for painting and fussy cutting vellum. I'll keep that piece. In fact, I forgot to tell you, you do need an extra piece of Lost Lagoon. Forgotten what size that is, but I will put it on the screen. Okay, so you finish up with bits like this and these 2 pieces. Right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to attach these, and I'm going to use, put my scrap of paper down, and my silicone mat. Right, so what I'm going to do, obviously because we've been painting on this side, we can't use Tombow. So I find the best thing to use is snail. With vellum you can see adhesives through, but when you're doing something that's got this much painting on it, it really is not going to be visible at all. Nobody's going to be like this tilting at it and saying where's the glue. So what I do is I put it on as much as possible to make sure all the outside edges get stuck down. And I also feel that if there's snail all over, it's not going to be obvious that it's there. I think it would be a lot more obvious if you just had, say, one line going across. I don't know if that makes sense, but because this is all going to look the same, I don't think it really you can really see it. Right, now when you put this down, this and this come very close to these score lines, and I'm going to place this so this leaf comes down to about ½ an inch up from the bottom, I suppose. I mean, obviously you can stick it whichever direction you'd like it to go, but that is definitely my preferred way. Okay. Now, as you can see, there's quite a lot of snail there, but that's quite easy to remove if you've got an adhesive remover, and just very carefully just keep stroking it in one direction, and then the glue will get itself wrapped into a little ball. Most of the time it will just stick to the bottom of this, so you can just pick it off and then move on to the next bit. And once you've gone through removing all of this, if you still think that it's a little bit sticky, just go over it with your Embossing Buddy, just to kill off the last bit of the stickiness. I'll show you what I mean. See, that's got rid of most of it, but it does still feel a bit tacky in places. I have to do this now because obviously once I've put the box together, I'm not going to be able to go back in with this. There we go. That's a little bit I didn't get. Wonder if I can. Oops, that's not up the right way, is it? No. I think I'm going to have to just leave you. I might cause a bit of damage if I force the issue there. Okay, so what I mean with the Embossing Buddy, because that is a little bit sticky there, just give it a little tap like that. Well, let's move that one out of the way now. Okay, so that's what our picture looks like. Beautiful, isn't it? Really is lovely. Right, we need to stick these two pieces together. So this piece you fold upwards and then down. Got a bit sticky on my finger. And this one up and then down. And the right side of this is the side where you've got the little indentation from where you've used the die. It leaves an extra little circle around there. So that's your front, and this has got to go back and then up, because then we can put it together like that. Okay, so with the wrong side facing up, fold it in and then back. Turn it around, fold that one up and that one back. Now we need to put some tape on here, and we're going to, we're going to use our tear and tape. It's tear and tape that I actually cut. I really ought to do a bit of practice at this, but when I tear, I tend to tear my cardstock with it, which is why I tend to cut it. In fact, when I first started card making, this is the only thing that we ever used to use. Right, so I'm going to take one piece off, one side, and I'm going to line this up with this. And I do recommend that you do one piece at a time. I don't recommend that you take that one off while you're trying to sort this one out. You really need your concentration on just one end here. Okay, so I'm just lining that up there, and this one. This is why I say you really need to make sure they are exactly the same size, otherwise you'll spend forever trying to get them to match up. which if they're not the same, they're not going to. Okay, so it should finish up that you can't see the blue that side and you can't see the white that side. Okay, and you should finish up with it that looks like that. Okay, now we can do the other end. And what should be able to happen, but I don't recommend that you do this, you should be able to just take this down and lay the two one on top of the other. You should be able to just go like that and it'll be done. But I do like to just double check this to make sure that I've got it right. Okay, so no blue there, no white there. So now you should be able to fold that in like that. Okay, and the same for the other end as well. Fold that one and that one. Okay, you can use a bone fold on that if you'd like to, but there we go. It's good, isn't it? Except I've got it upside down. Alright, so the last thing we're going to do is we're just going to put our sentiment on there and our flower. So what I'm going to do with the flower, I'm going to use Tombow and put it up there. So let's do that bit. No, I'm not using Tombow, I mean I'm using Snail, and I want Snail on this half. But I'm going to have part of my flower hanging off the edge. Don't think I got any glue on that bit there, did I? Let's try that again. Okay, so I've got some flower here and a leaf there which is coming off the edge. And just check to see if you've got any snail that's come over the edges there. So that one's alright. This one I'm going to punch out using our scalloped oval punch. Could have done with a bit of extra length on there. Okay. And I need a piece of Lost Lagoon the same size. Right, let me see if I can reach this piece. There we go. Now again, I'm trying to get snail all over the back here so that I can put it on here and it won't be noticeable because it's all over everywhere. In fact, I can show you on the other one what I mean about how it does become visible if you haven't got it everywhere. Let me just do this and I'll show you that. That's okay. Right, let me get this. Now if you have a look on this bit here, you can see where there is tape and isn't, but on this one there's tape all over. Can you see what I mean? This on here you can see there isn't any tape underneath that top bit, but because it's all over on this one you can't see it. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense to me. Right, okay, so I'm just going to put this on here. and this is the only time we can use Tombow because it's going onto the cardstock, and it's the bottom half, the end down by day, which is this end. Okay, so just put some on there. Just hold it for a few seconds, just to give Tombow a chance to get a grip. And there we have it. That, I think, is a really lovely card, and it is so easy. Okay, it's a bit more difficult because I did the heat embossing and fussy cutting, but it basically is a very easy card, and that's the first one that I made. I would like to just show you a couple of others that I did. I did this one using the that's a Bloomin' Love stamp set. I've forgotten to bring over the dies to, in fact I think they may be here. Yes, here we go. The heart is this one here, and it's from the Bloomin' Heart Thinlits dies. Again, that will be available as from January the 5th. Unfortunately, these heart dies are a retired product now, but I held on to mine. So I made that same card with the heart, but I just put a circle at the front, and it still looks good. Okay, so there you go, with Valentine's Day very much in mind. Many thanks for watching my video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please ask. I'm always happy to help. If you've enjoyed my video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button, which is probably on the right hand side of your screen, or it may be below the screen, depending on what you're watching the video on. If you'd like to purchase any of the products that I featured here today, please click on the link that's on the screen, or it'll be in the details below, and that'll take you straight to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.